Welcome. I know we get one or two coming in now. I'm watching this as we go along. Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming in and watching it on repeat. So this has been game week 8. I was going to say because we do football as well. This is week 8 of 15. So by now I'm wanting to be showing signs of improvement, and there are signs of improvement. There are also signs of getting slightly less performance at the sprinting end. Now, I've always thought of me as being more of a sprinter. I'm more of a 5k runner. Go down and do the park run and enjoy it. I've got targets of doing the park run in sort of between 21 and 23 minutes. And and at the beginning of this training, I was doing just over 23 minutes for a half marathon. For a half marathon, my God, for a 5k. So strike that one for a 5k, and I've been enjoying it. But then we came to this schedule. This schedule is more, like I said last time, it's more of a what they like to try and get you to do. Make you is a wrong way of putting it. They like to get you to do things without looking at the watch. So when they say you want to, like today with the speed repeats, 5 minutes at 7 minutes per mile, they're wanting you to just hit 7 minutes per mile. So I had to go at it today, and we didn't do brilliant. We class it. They class it as average, so right at the bottom of the average scale. But I look at the charts. The first time I've looked at the charts, actually, I've only just finished it, and actually they're not that bad. They look a bit worse than what they are, and I look at it and I think, there's times. Like that. That's the first two. That's the first one. If I get it the right angle, that's the first repeat at 7 minutes per mile, and it's almost spot on, And I got hit by a bit of annoyance with the watch because there's once where I looked at the watch and it said, "Oh, you're running too fast." So I just eased off a little bit. "Oh, you're running too slow," and it's like, "Oh, I give in, sod it," and walk back to the top of the hill. And it gets annoying after a while. So what they're trying to get you to do is not look at the watch, and I really must stop looking at the watch and just perhaps have a quick glance at it to make sure am I roughly around that level, and do I roughly need to speed up or slow down? But not look at it, do a change, look at it again. You know what I mean? So that I do have to learn. I do have to learn that because the watch clearly doesn't like you doing it and looking at the watch. The averaging just doesn't work for me, and it never will work for me because I move. My speed moves up and down quite quickly, and I can set off really enthusiastic, and it says 7 minutes per mile today, for 5 minutes, and I'm doing sort of 6 minutes 30, and oh God, I'll slow down, and whoosh, goes the other way. So I'm not going to mention that again. So that's just something I've got to learn. We started off with an easy run, and I got 81% of that because I kept going a bit too fast. Like I say, I'm on top of a hill. Really is difficult. So, and it likes putting these easy runs in, does Garmin, and there's a point to why I'm sort of going back into these again, because I know that you don't like me doing it. Because I did stride repeats, and these are okay because they don't monitor you on your percentage against target. But doing 180 paces a minute for so many minutes, so many repeats, to me that's that's okay because I just turn on the music and get it done, and I'm virtually spot on, so I'm not really bothered about those. The long easy run was a little bit more difficult because of the last two runs. I'd started to develop a pain in the left thigh, and I'm just the 9 minutes 10 to 10 minutes 10 is just about okay. It just gives me enough exercise to keep everything moving, and actually it eases off after a while if you don't push it. So I'm okay with it. I know I'm not overdoing it. I know once I get to Saturday, Sunday, tomorrow, and day after, I can just rest, leave it, and we'll see whether we can set off with next week with a feeling a little bit better. So a long easy run, 72% accuracy. Again, I tried nibbling it right at the low end because I didn't want to tweak that muscle that's obviously start just at the edge of complaining. And I could do how far did I do? Because it was a fair distance this time. Like 10, I did 11 miles, which you can imagine if I do the intervals for that, it's nearly 2 hours. So it was nearly 2 hour run, 1 hour 50. So on spot on 10 minutes per mile. So, and I didn't mind that because that's just easing the muscles. So whenever you've got something just a little bit achy, it's okay to run with it if you're achy. Absolutely. If you want to run with it, your muscle is just aching, that's fine. But as soon as it starts hurting, no, you're doing something wrong. It's telling you to stop. And I think I went for a run on Sunday, and that's where it started. I was running, and I was running back up the hill. I had a shortcut because my leg was starting to hurt. And as I started hitting the hill, I said, no, that's it. I'm stopped. I'm walking. And two runners came the opposite way, and I said, damn. And the woman said, oh dear. I said, yeah, it is oh dear as well. I'm walking back. I can't. It hurts. As soon as it hurts, bang, you stop. So I do what I tell you lot to do. That the thigh started hurting, bang, I'm about 2 miles. I must be about 1.5 miles from home. And I stopped running and walked up the hill because there's no point in damaging it for more than what you have to. Then I did the easy run. The stride repeats were okay with it. It was really strange because it's 180 paces a minute, but it's over pretty decent intervals. But it managed to stay. The legs managed to stay okay. I was quite happy with it. So the long run of 2 hours was, I don't want to push it too much straight after a stride repeat. So I decided to do that right on the back at the slowest end that Garmin was wanting me to, what Garmin work schedule was telling me. The easy run. I love the easy run. So another short easy run for an hour the day after. Managed again to keep it right on the edge, right on the line. I got 96% accuracy, so keeping it right in the back end was really good. And then speed repeats. Now I do want to talk about speed repeats because I used to be really good at these, and I used to do I used to do the 5K at around between 21 and 23 minutes. And doing all this training to try and, because it asks you what sort of runner you are. I'm a sprinter. That's what I am. I can do 200 yards, 400 yards at 4 minutes per mile. But try doing anything decent over half marathon, and I'm absolutely shocking. So it adjusts it, and most of my training that Garmin puts me on then is actually it's the zone 2 running. It's the long distance, nice and slow base running. But what I found is, like today with the what they want to call it speed repeats at 5 minutes at 7 minutes per mile, 4 times, I don't know, 5 times it was. And I actually found it difficult. And I'm thinking, well, that's ridiculous. I used to be able to run 5K, like literally last year, beginning of this year, I could run 5K at 22 and a half, 23 and a half. Now, try and get anywhere near that. Try and get anywhere near that for 5 minutes, and I'm thinking, wow, this is ridiculous. So I'm a little worried that the way Garmin's training pushes it is too far the other direction, and it's not helped me keep up that speed side of it. So if there's any one niggle about the actual program itself, it's about the fact that Garmin's training looks at it and says, "Are you a sprinter?" Yes, right. Okay, we'll push everything into trying to get you to be able to run a long distance run, and we'll not look at the speed stuff quite as much. But I've noticed, like I say, that the speed repeats like today, I should be clearing off easy because I class myself as a sprinter. 4 minutes per mile, 5 minutes per mile for me for 400 meters. It is something I always used, well, up to the beginning of this year, could do quite easy. And all of a sudden, I'm trying to do 5 minutes at 7 minutes per mile. I can do the first set, and then the second set, after a minute's break, I'm struggling to complete, which doesn't make sense. So I would say perhaps if you're going to do it and you are a sprinter, then perhaps you need to just make sure you're including some of your own sprint work in there just to keep up on that sprint side, because to me it just edged. I'm starting to see a decline in the sprint side of things because it's not pushing it, and to me that's a little bit sad because I enjoy the Garmin's schedule, but and it is getting me to run for longer periods, absolutely, but it's not getting me to run. It's not helping me do the faster stuff. And to be honest, you really need to still be able to do that faster stuff. You won't be wanting or being expected to do it for 13.1 mile. I'm used to doing it for 3.1 mile, but that just means a little bit slower, like 8 minutes, which is what I'm trying to get to, is then doable for a longer distance. But I'm a little worried that getting that 7 minutes per mile that I used to be able to do for a long distance is now starting to get unobtainable. And after I've done the half marathon, if I want to go back and do 1 or 2 5Ks, I'm not going to be able to do anywhere near 21 to 23 minutes, which will be a bit of a downer because I enjoy doing them. I enjoy doing the park runs. So that's a little bit sad. Other than that, everything's, I do enjoy that. I do enjoy it. It's a little bit repetitive. It does everything every 2 weeks, roughly. So again, next week, it's an easy run, a progression run, which again is one of those that I should be able to do. Last time I didn't do too bad, but right near the end, this is where I hurt the leg initially. So and I still got a decent score in it. I do seem to be doing well on that. Then it's an easy run. Then it's a goal pace run. But like I said, there's no sprint work in there. And one of the things I wanted to say is, so we look at let's see if we can pull it up for you. It's the chart about, is it performance? No, it's training status, isn't it? It's training status. So if you look at the load training status at the minute, you should be able to see that everything's pretty much on time. In fact, I've done more low aerobic than I need to. The high aerobic is now just at the bottom end where it's been way out and way over. But the anaerobic is really low, and it's actually been completely well low for a couple of weeks. And the training schedule doesn't seem to look at your load focus in the Garmin app, in Garmin Connect, and say, well, actually, we do need to keep him in a state of improvement, not just sort of recovering or maintaining. But it doesn't seem to have that connection. So the Garmin trainer just carries on with his training schedule, but it doesn't look back and look at this and say, well, actually, he needs more anaerobic exercise. We'll either up the schedule, the tempo. I don't know. What was it today? It was interval. So up the interval length, perhaps, to make it a little bit more anaerobic orientated. It seems to just have a plan. He did such a percentage performance last time, so we can up it from 30 seconds to 5 minutes, which is what it did this time. And now that I've done average, perhaps it'll keep it at 5, or it'll increase it to 10 like it did, and then realize I did crap and pull it back again. But it doesn't look at the training status, which is a little bit disappointing. I would prefer it to go, and a lot of you have actually said this on Facebook, on some of the groups. Why is my training status still in recovery, even though I'm following the training plan absolutely spot on? It's because that the training plan from the Garmin trainer isn't looking at the training status. It clearly isn't. So all in all, I've enjoyed it. I mean, I am enjoying it, and it is getting me to run further, for longer, and for faster. And I'm certainly feeling, when I'm running 12, 13, 14 miles, I can actually sprint now at the end, which is really good. I'm just a little bit disappointed in losing that ability to sprint. But there again, the trainers would probably say, well, for half marathon, you don't want to sprint. You don't need the sprint ability. So, I can see where they're coming from. Just want to end, Garmin. I don't know whether you still are. I've seen a couple of people popping in there. I did a video just now, a reactionary video to something I saw on one of the top 5 or 6 YouTube channels. It really is a top channel. And it is the running channel to go to. Yes, pun included. And they said, run with your pelvis forward. Now, please, if you're a senior runner, for God's sake, don't do what that top channel told you to do and run with your pelvis forward. I've done a reactionary video to it. Please do watch it. It will harm your back. If you're a senior runner, it could put you out of running forever. It is dangerous. I couldn't believe it when I saw this top 5, 6 channel on YouTube put this out. I think it was beginning of last week, and I've been wondering whether to put a reactionary video out. It's just hit YouTube. I've just put it out. If you're a senior runner, especially if you're a beginner runner, they've aimed this particular video, the running channel that I was looking at, and pun included. And they said, run with your pelvis forward. It'll stop you from dropping your head. It stops you from lifting your shoulders. Yes, it does. And it even makes you lift your legs higher, which is really good form. But you will always have to go back to the proper way of leaning forward. And while you're pushing your pelvis forward, the back, I tried it. I went about 40 yards, and the lower back takes a hell of a lot of pounding. You will hurt yourself. Please do not follow that advice. It is the worst advice I have seen on here, and it is very disappointing that it's from one of the top running channels. Please, I don't want people getting hurt, and I really don't want people following advice that will get them hurt. So we're going to carry on. I will do it again next week because I've actually got more people in this time than I got for all the others. And you do seem to enjoy it. You do seem to like it. You do seem to keep popping in. Thanks for listening, the ones that popped in. If you've got any questions, then please do put it in the chat. I'm always open to any questions. The Garmin, the Garmin 255 I use, and it's a nice intermediate one, but like I said, the averaging out of the speeds is a real pain in the arse. It's not for use with these with the Garmin training. It's not really handy because it flicks too far from one side to the other. Certainly on the intervals. So thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Please do subscribe. Please do like. I do need it. So see you later. See you in a week's time, and hopefully we can have some really good news about these sprints, because I do want to try and keep up with that sprinting side of things and make sure I don't completely lose it. And it's Senior Runner over and out. Thanks for watching.